Now that we know what generative AI is broadly, let's talk about ChatGPT specifically. It's perhaps the most popular example of generative AI today. If you're curious, it stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's a language model that interacts in a conversational way, meaning you can ask it questions and get human-like answers. It's a super smart chatbot, basically. It's developed by a company called OpenAI, and the current version is 3. Let's see some examples of what it can do. How about explain calculus for a 5-year-old? And here we're going to get a very human-like answer written in a level of detail that somebody very young, a 5-year-old, could understand. Let's try another one. Write a short paragraph explaining the history of computer science, and we can say things like use a friendly tone. Let's see what this gives us. And here, just like we've asked for, we have a short paragraph about computer science in a pretty friendly tone. So how is all of this possible? ChatGPT is trained on a massive, massive data set, basically scraping the web and learning from all kinds of data, things like news articles, research papers, books, documentation from software or user manuals, sites like Wikipedia, scholarly articles, and a lot more. So all of that data is fed in to train this model to make it really smart. But what exactly does that mean? How do you train a computer? Well, kind of the same way that you quote-unquote train a human. Thinking back to when you were a kid, you were learning the alphabet and spelling and such. You learned the letters, lowercase, uppercase. You learned how to recognize them, how to write them, how they sounded, and eventually you put them together to mean something. Basically, you identified patterns, which is what machine learning or AI does. For example, if I see the letters like this, A-M-B-E, I have learned or I've been trained to think, oh, I bet the next letter in this sequence is an R, forming a complete word, amber. And you can extend from letters and single words to full sentences. If I see the text, I hope this, since I've seen that so many times, I've learned or I'm trained to want to complete this sentence with finds you well. And ChatGPT basically does the same thing, but on a much larger scale, having been trained with a lot more information than a single human brain. It's super, super smart. So it's taking all the information that's been fed to it and basically predicting what word or sentence or paragraph or line of code, for example, would come next. And that's an important point. ChatGPT doesn't do an internet search for answers. Instead, it predicts answers based on its training data. So this is not a new search engine, though some people would argue it could become that, replacing the popular search engines that we have today. But under the covers, it's not actually doing a search. It's just using the data that it was trained on to predict what comes next. So let's do a quick recap before we move on. ChatGPT is a language model used for human-like conversation, a really smart chatbot, essentially. It's a type of generative AI that creates new content. It's become massively popular in a very short amount of time with the potential to disrupt how we work, learn, and interact. It's definitely a technology you want to understand and know how to use for your benefit. And that's where we're heading next. Let's talk about how to get started with ChatGPT.